Well, I've got very, very sad news, boys. Big Boss is dead. As of as of filming this yesterday, Simon Mann, mad lad, friend of the channel, passed away. Ex-SES officer Simon Mann, who was father of Prince Harry's real best man and led failed American Wonga coup, has died while exercising, aged 72. Simon Mann, the colourful mercenary and ex-SAS officer, jailed for leading the so-called Wonga coup involving Sir Mark Thatcher in Central Africa 20 years ago, has died, Mail Online can reveal. Old Etonian man, who also served in the Scots Guards after Sandhurst, was one of a group of 70 mercenaries arrested in Zimbabwe for attempting to stage a coup in oil-rich Equatorial Guinea in 2004. Businessman Sir Mark, son of former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, was later arrested in South Africa and, like Mann, admitted a part in the coup attempt. It is believed that the multimillionaire and father of seven Mann was exercising in the gym when he died this week, aged 72. Mann's polo playing son Jack, by his first marriage, was previously named as Prince Harry's real best man. Mann was born into a life of privilege and had a distinguished military career before his entanglement in the coup. His father, George, captained the England cricket team in the 1940s and was an heir to the Watney Mann brewing empire. After Sandhurst, he served in the Scots Guards and SAS in Cyprus, Germany, Norway, and Northern Ireland, volunteering as a reservist in the First Gulf War in 1991. In 1996, Mann formed the mercenary or private military company Sandline with former Scots Guards Colonels Tim Spicer operating in Angola, Sierra Leone. I mean, it was a little bit more than that. But a little bit more than Sandline. In 2004, Mann hit the headlines when he and 69 other ex-soldiers were arrested during a stop-off at Harar Airport to be loaded with 100 grand of weapons and equipment intended to engineer the coup in Equatorial Guinea and overthrow the government of President Teodoro Obiang. Uh, I'll save it all for the end, right? Mann and the other conspirators claimed they were merely flying to the Democratic Republic of Congo to provide security for diamond mines, but after a trial in Harar, he was given 7 years for attempting to buy arms for an alleged coup, while 66 other men were acquitted. Thatcher, nicknamed Scratcher, meanwhile, was arrested at home in Cape Town and eventually pleaded guilty to negligently supplying financial assistance to the plot. Yeah, if you want more information on this entire thing, you can watch my Mad Lad video that I did on Simon Mann. It's one of the most popular ones on the channel where Mark Thatcher goes, "Oh, I thought I was supplying a medical helicopter, you lying bastard." Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. The coup was financed by Lebanese fixer Eli Khalil, nicknamed Smelly by his ex public school co conspirators, who later died falling down the stairs at his home in Holland Park, West London. Wow, what a tragic accident. President Obiang promised that he would eat Mann's testicles and drag his naked body through the streets should he ever get the chance. In 2006, Coup, a TV movie, was made about the affair, written by actor and comedy writer John Fortune of Bremner, Bird and Fortune fame, starring Jared Harris as Mann and Robert Bathurst as Thatcher. There's Thatcher there. Then in 2007, a court in Zimbabwe ruled that Mann should be extradited to Equatorial Guinea after a shady agreement between the two governments, branded the Oil for Man deal. The then Zimbabwe President Robert Mugabe secured a large amount of oil from Guinea, widely believed to be in return for sending Mann north to meet his fate. It was. That's exactly what it was for. Multi-millionaire Mann was thrown into the notorious hellhole of Black Beach Prison, where he was clapped in leg irons and would serve less than 2 years of a 34-year sentence. Now, Black Beach Man had a very bad time in Black Beach. He's told me personally. He had Black Beach Prison is famous worldwide for a reason, right? It is hell on earth. It is an extremely bad prison. Every morning they just come in and drag out the corpses of whoever didn't make it through the night. It's just a horrible, horrible place. Uh, uh, Served less than 2 years of a 34-year sentence, though he suffered with malaria more than once, caged in a tiny cell in solitary confinement. Back home, Mann's loyal wife Amanda, fighting with others for her husband's release, displayed unquenchable spirit, acquiring a t-shirt emblazoned with the slogan, "A man is for Christmas, not for life." In 2009, he was granted a complete pardon on humanitarian grounds by President Obiang, the man he had tried to depose. I hope I remember at the end. I've got stuff to tell you about that. And settled in the New Forest with his wife Amanda, but last year the pair were reported to have split. When Mann was released, he was actually brought to dinner with Obiang, and it was just a total power play on Obiang's part. Like Mann's sitting there like awkwardly like eating his dinner, and Obiang's just sitting munching a steak, and he's just like, "I could have killed you anytime I wanted." It was just a total power play by him, but I think the two stayed in touch like after it. But Mann hasn't really I hadn't really forgiven him for his treatment in Black Beach Prison. But there's funny shit I need to tell you at the end about that. Last year, the Mail's Richard Eden reported that Mann had left Amanda, mother of 4 of his 7 children, who campaigned tirelessly for his release and was apparently being comforted by a woman more than 20 years his junior. My man. I mean, I'm kidding on. I'm kidding on. That's his business. Simon and Amanda have split up, a friend said, adding that Mann has moved out of the house on the south coast where they lived since shortly after his release in 2009. Mann's next scheme was growing cannabis in North Macedonia, it was reported. Eden reported they are getting divorced, the chum tells me, saying that the marriage has been very difficult ever since Mann's return from Africa. They decided to stay together until their youngest child left home. More recently, Mann's polo-playing son Jack was in the news. He had an intended business trip to Libya interrupted when he and colleagues attempted to fly in from Malta. The authorities decided that their paperwork needed to be rectified, a process which took 5 days. Last year, the Daily Telegraph interviewed Mann, who claimed that Thatcher's role in the coup attempt was far more than just a negligent financier. It was a lot more than. Anyway, the plot was seeded in August 2003 when Khalil summoned Mann to his grand mansion in Chelsea after being approached by Severo Moto, the exiled opposition leader in Equatorial Guinea, who wanted to overthrow the tyrannical Obiang. Mann claimed Khalil told him that King Juan Carlos of Spain, of which Equatorial Guinea is a former colony, and the then Prime Minister of Spain, Jose Maria Aznar, knew about the coup and approved it. As a reward, Mann would have access to oil rights once Moto was in power. Mann was also attracted by the danger and adventure that the plan involved, and believed that removing a despotic dictator would justify the ethics of the job. He told Khalil he would do it. Putting together a team of mercenaries armed with guns, rocket launchers, and mortars to carry out the coup would cost $2.5 million, he calculated, but Khalil's funds were frozen due to a criminal investigation in France. Khalil introduced Mann to a businessman who would become a silent partner in the scheme, but Mann wanted his own man and approached Thatcher. Sir Mark was an old friend, a close neighbour in Cape Town, where both men had homes, and the Telegraph reported something of an SAS groupie. During a walk on Table Mountain, Mann briefed Sir Mark on the plot and asked if he would invest. Mark was incredibly enthusiastic, Mann told the Telegraph, but he was not just keen to share the spoils of their adventure in Equatorial Guinea, he wanted to play an active role in planning the operation. Mann needed a helicopter for the fast movement of supplies and troops, and Sir Mark, a trained helicopter pilot, and had the connections and the cash to source the required aircraft. Right, and there it is, the end of the article. And then what he's all did was he's abandoned him in Zimbabwe prison, and then he abandoned him in Black Beach, and basically lots of people had to pull a lot of bloody strings to get him released. Now, me and Simon Mann actually talked kind of regularly. There would be little periods where we wouldn't speak because he was busy. He was a busy, busy man. And we would chat about things which I'm not going to discuss with any of you. But for my safety, I'm not talking about that shit with anyone. That's all coming straight to my grave. Right, but one thing that we did talk about, which was just fucking hilarious, is President Obiang, the dictator of Equatorial Guinea. Well, we recently covered something that happened in Equatorial Guinea. There was a guy who was a high-ranking member of the cabinet in Equatorial Guinea, and it turned out he was a little bit of an Alcibiades. Basically, every member of government, every person in every position, including Obiang himself, right? This guy was fucking all of their wives, all of their daughters, all of their sisters, and recording it to the point where there was hundreds and about 400, I believe, different videos of this guy just banging everyone's wife. He fucked Obiang's sister. There is a video of it. It's out there. Don't Google it, right? But he fucked Obiang's sister, and I had to message Simon going, "Did you see the news?" And he was like, "Yeah." And me and him were just sitting there laughing about what happened. Right? It's funny. I'm sorry, that's funny as hell. So me and him had a great big laugh about that. Right? I think he said something like, couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke or something, right? And I'm sorry, like that's funny. It's like this is the guy that was trying to do the power play of I could have murdered you any time that I wanted. And then there's just a video of his own sister getting her fucking back blown out on the internet for people to see. Right? Now that's fucking funny. Now basically I literally was chatting to Simon just a few days ago. Like literally just a few days ago I was talking to him, and it's just I am quite sad about it because we would have little chats about current affairs. He kept me abreast of things that were happening and all that. That was it. But I'm really sad he's gone. The guy definitely had an extremely interesting life. He had a really interesting life. I could have listened to the guy talk for hours. Like he came to my show when I was performing down in Comedy Unleashed and everything like that, and he was just a great guy. He was a really really nice guy with a hell of an interesting life, and it's just gotten, it's just sad. So R.I.P. Simon Mann, and I'm going to miss our little chats.